Hello guys, it is Timsy here again, back on your screens, and I'm with Queen Ashley on her podium, rightly so. And what we're going to talk about today is some different jumps. So the difference between a couple of jumps, you might have seen or heard them and you're thinking, oh, what's the difference or what do they actually look like? And we're going to show you a couple. Couple we're going to do on the box, couple we're going to do with band. So starting with the box, there's two jumps we're going to go over, a depth jump and a drop jump. So slightly different in that the depth jump, which we're going to demo first, is that we can spend a bit of time on the ground. We're getting into pretty much like almost a full squat position and then getting up as high as we can. So it's all about putting as much force through the ground as we can and getting up as high as we can. So Ash is going to do a little demo. She's just going to drop off. Full squat, boom, gets up nice and high. So a lot of force going down in the ground. It's not as short a ground contact time. That's because we need to get a hell of a lot of force. When we talk about the drop jump, slightly different in that now it's a bit more tendony rather than force through our muscles in the ground. It's about that springiness, those reflexive pathways. So she's not going to spend a long time on the ground at all, and her knees are only going to bend a little bit. So we'll show you the drop jump here. It's boom, straight up, and then land. Good, and we'll do one more time. So nice and stiff through that ground contact time, boom, straight up, and land. Good, so slight difference between the two. One, obviously, max force through the ground using all those quads and glutes as much as we can. The second one, a bit more tendony stiffness one, so we're trying to spend as little time on the ground as possible. Both pretty important, all right? We're gonna show you a couple of banded jumps as well and the difference between the two. The first one we're gonna go over is a band assisted jump. So as you can imagine, the band is going to help us get up nice and high. So we're playing around with this kind of like force velocity curve here. And this one, we're going nice and fast. So the force isn't as high, but the speed is high. And Ashley's going to show you here. She's going to be pulling down with the band. You can see how high she can get. It's almost like a bit of an overspeed jump. And then she's getting nice and high, all right? And the difference between that one, and we're going to talk about the band resisted one shortly, is that obviously the resisted one, probably not for beginners as well, it's a little bit more advanced, but we have to push through resistance. But the band, as you can see in the setup here, is also going to pull her down. So the landing force is a little bit harder as well, a little bit higher. So not as fast, but she has to produce more force. So give us a little whirl, Ashley. Oh boy, beautiful. All right, so if you think about that, again, that force velocity curve, probably more force, less velocity here, and then vice versa on that one. So there's just a couple of different sort of jumps and the difference between the two, right? All have their place in a program, all can help you jump higher, but it's just knowing the difference and when to use them, all right? So there you go.